And welcome back to the Lab Robots. We've had a few behind the scenes videos with this AMD RX 7600 XT, but now's the time for us to go ahead and get this through the Mistral 7B leaderboard and rank it against the other cards. This is a 16 gig GDDR6. It's got a TDP of about 190 watts. We've kind of gone over this before. It's got 128-bit bus, 2048 cores. And after the last few videos, everyone said use ROCm to do it. Okay, well, fine. Let's go ahead and use ROCm to do it. We are going to do this with flash attention on. If you look at my other videos about this card, the behind the scenes, it is almost necessary to get ROCm to perform decently with these cards. So I normally don't run that in the leaderboard tests, but we will put an asterisk in there and we'll do it with flash attention on. And let's go ahead and get to it. This is going to be Q3 KM running on an AMD RX 7600 XT, 16 gigabytes. We'll do the 20 tests and let's go ahead and get this started. Off to the right hand side, at the top is AMD GPU top, and down below it is AMD SMI basically. So this will allow us to see the metrics, how much power we're actually pushing through these cards, and just give us a good idea of the activity and the memory usage across the board. First test pack at 37.21 tokens per second. Let's go ahead and kick it into fast forward mode, and we'll run right through all of this. On average, I saw it using about 185 watts up to a peak of about 203, which is interesting. Must be the boost on it. This is the last test on Q3 KM. Let's let it finish out here and we'll go ahead and take a look at what it comes up at. It still looks to be moving quite good to me. Oh, going into a lot of verbosity. All right, let's go ahead and let this finish up here. Came down to around 22.79 tokens per second. Let's go ahead and get this report generated. We'll cycle the pod so that we get nice fresh logs off of it. Give it just a second here. You'll see it dropped off. And then we're going to set up for Q4 KM with flash attention on, and again just run that same exact test. Don't worry, at the end we're going to gather up all these reports and show you guys in one singular visual report what we tested today. So this is Q4 KM on an AMD 7600 XT. Looks to be moving pretty darn quick to me. We'll see what it comes back at. And again, seeing 189, 190 watts, 187, 186. First one back at 36.73 tokens per second. Let's go ahead and kick this into fast forward mode and I'll bring you back for the last test. And here's the final test on Q4 KM, just so that you guys can watch. And we're doing about the same wattage. I did see some peaks up there around 200 watts, but on average, seems to be about in the 170s to 180s. Go ahead and let this test finish up and we'll see where it settled out to be on Q4. All right, settled out at about, again, 22 tokens per second. Nice and flatlined, it looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll do our normal produce this report. Then cycle the pod so that we get some nice fresh logs to go off of. So there's the report being produced. Let's go ahead and cycle the pod, let it clear out all the memory and logs. And then we're going to set up for Q5 KM, again with flash attention on, run our exact same tests, change the report name down here. And here we go. This is Q5 KM on the RX 7600 XT. Let the memory load up there. Looks to be using just over 7 gigabytes of VRAM, 190 watts, 194, 170. First one back at 34.81 tokens per second on Q5. Okay, let's kick it into fast forward mode. And we'll come back for that final test on the Q5 and let you guys feel how it turned out. And this is the final test on Q5 KM. Looks to have settled down to about 20.5 tokens per second, but still feeling quite good at Q5. What do you guys think? $299 AMD card with ROCm, performing pretty well, especially since this card is kind of hindered by what it is in its specs, but it's still a pretty darn good card for its price. All right, final one coming in. Yes, 20.5 tokens per second. Looking back over there, let's do our normal produce this report. Looking pretty good. Cycle the pod out so that we can get nice fresh logs and clear out the memory. And then we're going to set up for Q6 KM, again with the flash attention on. Change the report name. Let's get the side menu out of the way. Hit go. Same 20 tests. This is Q6 on the 7600 XT. Let's watch the memory load up over there. Just under 8 gigabytes of VRAM. $177 watts, 176. First one back at 32.785 evaluation tokens per second. Let's kick it into fast forward mode and we'll come back for the last one. And here's the last one on Q6. Still cruising right along there. 184 watts, 192, 176. So yeah, right in there. 185, 187. Still, that's about where it's been on most of these tests. And final number in at 20.89 tokens per second. Again, looks pretty flat. Let's go ahead and produce the report for Q6. And then we'll do our typical cycle the pod, clear out the memory, get some fresh logs in there, and we'll settle up for Q8. Go ahead and cycle the pod here. I'm going to select the Q8 model with flash attention turned on. Change the report name. Get this sidebar menu out of the way, and let's get Q8 started. Using about 9.5 gigabytes of VRAM. Looks to be starting out well. 179 watts. 179, 178. First one back at 27.69. Kick it into fast forward mode here. We'll come back for this very last test on Q8, but it started out well. And here's the final test on Q8 KM running on this 7600 XT. Still looking pretty good. Looks like it settled down to around, just below 19 tokens per second. Let's let this settle out. And again, we're using 175, 183, 176. And yeah, we're back 18.781, but the ones right above it, it looks like it flatlined out at just below 19 tokens per second. Let's go ahead and produce that report. And then we'll do our typical cycle the pod here, and we'll set up for our very final test, which is FP16 using ROCm on this AMD RX 7600 XT. So let's get this FP16 model selected here and just make sure I have flash attention on. I do. Change the model. And here we go. Let the memory load up. Just over 15.5 gigabytes of VRAM. 171, 173, 186, 176, 169. So again, still in that upper range of 170s to 180s. Looking pretty good for FP16 on this $300 card. Hey, maybe even during Black Friday, which is coming up here, and hope you guys enjoy your turkey. Maybe you can find it even cheaper. Keep your eye out for sales. It's a pretty decent card once we got it all functional here. It'd be nice if ROCm officially supported these cards. But doing pretty well. Let's see what this first one finishes off at, and then we'll jump into fast forward and get this test off the way and go look at all the reports. 15 tokens per second was the first one. Let's cruise through this fast forward, and then we'll get to the last test here. And this is the final test on FP16 running on this AMD 7600. If you guys haven't gotten that point yet. Still looking pretty good though. Looking pretty good. $170, $172, $173, $177. That's watts, just so you guys know. And the final test coming in at 11.85 tokens per second on FP16. All right, let's get this report generated, and we'll expand out this window. And let us go grab all of those tests that we just ran from Q3 all the way up to FP16, and we're going to combine them into one report. I'm going to get the name in there. Combine those files. Now let's go check out our final results. Go find the report here. All right, this is the prompt evaluation time. Ooh, really bunched up. In brown, we have the FP16, purple, the Q8, red is Q6, green is Q5, orange is Q4, and blue is the Q3. For the prompt evaluation time, wow, that's pretty grouped up in there with ROCm. Not bad, not bad at all. This is the evaluation time. FP16 taking a little longer, but the rest of the quants are pretty well grouped together. Here is the total time, which is basically going to be those two put together. Prompt tokens evaluated, it's 111 across the board, as it normally is with all of our tests. The completion tokens, now this mimics the length of your response, not the accuracy, but the length of the response that you're getting. And you can see across the quants and FP16, pretty grouped in there. Total tokens is going to be those two put together. Let's hop to the prompt token per second. Look how grouped up that is in there. Pretty impressive. Not too bad at all. FP16 taking a little while longer right off the bat, but not too bad. And what everyone's been waiting for, evaluation tokens per second. As we just saw, we've got FP16 down at the bottom here, finishing off at just under 12 tokens per second. Not bad at all for this card. Q8, right about 20 tokens per second. And then we have Q5 and Q6 basically right in there at 22, 23 tokens per second, followed by Q4 and Q3. But nice test, all flatlined out. Gave us a good median over here of the performance of these cards once they get going. Let's go ahead and do our normal thing and give me a minute to go add these results to the leaderboard, and then we'll take a look where this lands. Alright, let's take a look at the site here. And remember, you can always come to RoboTF.ai and see the leaderboard. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And you can always come see the tests that we run too. If you need to see the test that we just ran, I just threw it up here, and you can come look at those results yourself. But let's go ahead and go back to the leaderboard, and we'll flip over to Q3 and see where this 7600 landed. Get the sidebar menu out of the way. Now this is Q3. Oh, here's the 7600. Currently in 7th place. It actually knocked the A770 out of 7th place, but just barely, with 26.77 tokens per second. Not too shabby. Still below the 4060 Ti, but I did not expect that it would match the 4060 Ti in any way whatsoever, but not bad. 26.7 tokens per second. We called it about 189 watts across the board for this card. Let's flip over to Q4. Oh, Q4, the A770 actually beats it out, but it still comes in at 25.86 in 8th place. The A770 was 28.6. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, let's go take a look at Q5. Ooh, Q5. It decides that it's going to take 7th place back. So we've got a back and forth battle in between the A770 and the 7600 XT. 24.61 tokens per second. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Let's go take a look at Q6. Oh. And the A77 takes 7th place back again on Q6 at 26.7 versus the 7600 XT running at 23.66. Still, not bad, not bad. Those two cards are battling back and forth on the leaderboard here. Same price, not too shabby. Let's move over to Q8. Q8, the 7600, is in 7th place with 21.17 evaluation tokens per second, beating the A770 out by not too much, but a decent little margin there. Let's go take a look at FP16. Ooh, oh, okay, FP16, it's in 9th place underneath the Tesla M40. That's not too surprising. The Tesla M40 has a lot of cores and a lot of memory. But it came in ninth place at 12.79 tokens per second. To give you guys an idea, the 4060 Ti was 16.77, and that A770 put out a whopping 17 tokens per second on FP16. Not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Tell me what you guys think below about this 7600 XT, how it performed in these tests. Was it up to your expectations? Did it not meet your expectations? I think ROCm needs a little bit of work in the integrations for it, but still, it looks pretty good. Until next time, buy your AI pizza, or in this case, since it's almost Thanksgiving, buy your AI a turkey. I'll see you guys next time.